Margaret says there's so many potential clients. There are, because it's like you have potential clients that they don't even know that they're going to be a client yet, because they haven't gone through this really, difficult situation like I was describing. Like right now, they're like, I would never even know that there was a professional organizer because I'm already a decently organized person. But then like when all hell breaks loose because of whatever event in their life, and they find out about you or they've heard about you before, and they're just like, this is something I need in my life right now. It's something I'm willing to spend money on in my life right now. Like, yes, it's a yes. They're willing to call you. They fall in love with you. You come in their home. They like, once they know what you can do for them, and once they've met you in person and feel comfortable with you, then that's where you make the sale. Elena says, I went to interior design school and used to be a realtor. We're completely different and haven't yet paved our path yet. Oh, this is interesting. So you actually have experience with these two very related professions, so you completely understand like how your environment really affects you, like your interior design, like your decor really affects you as a person, and then of course like as a realtor you understand like how your stuff like affects the house itself, like the perception of the house. So I think that is such a fantastic perspective to bring to it. Margaret says, do you think it's a good decision to specialize in one area like downsizing? I don't think downsizing is quite a specialty, because I do think, well, I guess you could specialize just in that. Maybe you could call it something different though, like minimalistic living, or I don't know, there's like the tiny house movement. Like there's a lot of different ways of putting it that don't make it sound so like stark and sad. A lot of people think of having to downsize, or for example, I've worked with several divorced like women who are going through divorces, who when they realize that they have to go from living in like a fabulous big home to like a small apartment, and they can't paint the walls, it's like that feels like a death sentence to them. But if you can sort of help them see kind of this new adventure, a new opportunity in a different way, and like kind of like help them make the most of whatever their new space is, like I think that's like such a transformative experience. You know what I mean? Okay. Cynthia says, I think organizers and interior designing are two very different services. Yes. Lisa says, the majority of my clients have had a major life event that they're dealing with. Yes, me too. Lena says, would you do something more like specializing in the KonMari method? From what I understand, there's actually like a KonMari certification now, or training, and I have not looked into that at all, but I think that would be really interesting, because somewhere like Chicago, you could be the KonMari certified organizer. Like that would make you stand out. And I don't know, Lena, too much yet about what your specialty is, but it sounds like you already have like a really good eye for design. So I'd love to know like what how you're thinking of approaching it. Lizette says, I really like cleaning too. So yes, so if you are thinking, or if you have been a house, like if you've offered a cleaning service in the past, because I do have a lot of people come to organizing from that route, just make sure that you are really clear on differentiating your cleaning services versus your organizing services for your client. Because if they see you as just a housekeeper and they can't imagine paying you more than $15 an hour to also organize and set up systems and do all of this, logic and decision making that has to go into organizing, because essentially, you're really bringing order into a situation that doesn't currently have it, which has a lot more value than just, when I say just, I mean, I would love for somebody else to clean my house for me. Like I feel like I would, I have a lot of value in that, just, personally, but the actual labor and mental work that goes into housekeeping is not as intensive as what goes into organizing. Like it is a whole completely different field. So just make sure that if you are offering both, that you make sure you have positioned your organizing services as something very customized, very high end, so that they understand they're not getting that for the price of the housekeeping. Okay, Adria says, can you appear to have a big heart for people while still nabbing high-end clients? Is it the price that really narrows down the ideal clients, or should we also not appear, oh, this is a good question. Should we also not appear too mushy, sensitive, therapeutic? Basically, would that scare the ideal client off? I don't think so at all. I mean, I think the number one thing that gives people confidence about me, I mean, in addition to the fact that, I mean, at this point, I really take most of my new clients off of referrals, so they already know a little bit about me. But I think the additional thing, I would say the number one additional thing that appeals to people is you have to be committed 1000% through everything you do, everything you say, to confidentiality about what you're doing. And that means, you know, telling people, like, I'm not going to post pictures of your house on my website or on my social media. Like, I tell them, like, I don't even do that. And so that, I think, lets them know, like, this girl's for real. I can trust her, you know, working in my home office with my bank statements, because she's not trying to use me, like, use my, I mean, I just can't emphasize enough, like, just them knowing for sure that you're going to keep your mouth shut and not, like, advertise to the world that they have been your client and that they needed you. You know, of course, they're going to, like, still share that with the friends that they trust, but the fact that you are going to be completely confidential in the work that you do and the stuff that you've seen with them and the conversations that you've had with them, like, I think that's the thing that they really want to feel from you. But when you say not appear too mushy, sensitive, or therapeutic, I disagree with that, because I think a lot of them want somebody to talk to. And not that, like, you're trying to be therapeutic, it's just that you are a person that is going to be listening to them, and that's therapeutic for them. Does that make sense? Because there's something about having somebody in your house. There's something about having somebody in your house that is working alongside you, like, with all of your most personal belongings, and you get to know each other over the course of time, that they're going to feel like they really want to feel like they can open up to you, and they are going to tell you stories about everything. I mean, everything about when their kids were little, about their parents before they died. And I just, like, being somebody who's willing to, like, be open to that and kind of hold that space for them, like, in your own, like, you have the energy to help them, but you also have the energy to listen and, like, be that person. I think that's a really big deal to them. So when you say being too mushy or sensitive, I don't think that that's really the, I don't think that should be a fear for you at all. Like, I think being sensitive enough to them in order to listen to where they are, like, today, like, you might have a client you've been working with and she's been doing pretty well most of your sessions, but then today you go in and she's having a tough day because you are now going through her husband's clothes, and he died 2 years ago, and this is the first time she's finally touching them, okay? Like, and she says, I'm so sorry, but I'm kind of having, like, a hard day, or I'm having a low energy day, and you're sensitive enough to her to be accommodating to that and not just, like, push her and say, I'm sorry, no, we're not on schedule. Like, I think that's really important to them, that you are sensitive. So Adria, don't be scared of that at all.